This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on January 13th, 2021. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 11 strategies of my game. Okay, so strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize at the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 14, 26, 38, 45, and 46. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. So what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 14 was green. The 26 was purple. The 38 was orange. The 45 was red. And the 46 was green. So I'm going to color these in. So again, the 14 and the 46 were green. The 26 was purple. The 38 was orange. And the 45 was red. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I got. So I got 2 green, 1 red, 1 orange, 1 purple for 4 colors total. So up here I'm going to make this 509 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 175 times. Okay, so what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. You can see that this has come up 263 times out of 509 drawings. So if you do some quick math, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay? And to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. So my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, green, blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided them by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. And that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with the red numbers. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why this is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the 14, the 26, the 38, 45, and 46. The next line down is the 1, the 20, 22, 60, and 66. And the last line is the 3, 4, 11, 41, and 67. So again, I'm going to make these red. And now I'm going to count how many red numbers I have on my game card. So over here I got 5 and 2 are 7, 2 are 9, 1's 10, and 5 are 15. And up here it tells me of how many of each color I have on a game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start in with the 3. You can see that's already taken, so I can't take it twice. So I'll go to the 43. The 45 is already taken, so the 61. the 65. The next line down is the 10, the 24, 27, 35, and 53. The next line down is the 6, the 13, 38's already taken, so the 39, and the 53 is already taken. So the last line is the 27, which is taken, so the 32, the 34, 43 is taken, and the 52. So I'll make those orange. And now over here I got 3, 4 are 7, 1's 8, 2 are 10, and 4 are 14. So I'll leave that alone at 14. And now I'd move on to the green area, then the blue, and then whatever's left over is purple. But what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up a little bit, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like for January 13th, 2021. So again, there was 15 red numbers, 14 orange, turned out to be 17 green, 11 blue, and 12 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time a 3-color combination comes up. So that means more than half the time 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. So the strategy here is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So I do want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 19 times out of 509 drawings. So it comes up, but it's very rare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up. And to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So that means there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of this and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so I kind of use these 50-50 picks as kind of like a roadmap to what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is make this 550. Now this is how many drawings I kept track of so far, and basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the game card to find out how many odd and even numbers have just come up. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 even numbers and 1 odd. So I'm going to highlight the majority, which is evens, of course. And now I'm going to make this 260. Okay, so out of 550 drawings, 290 drawings have been to the odds, and 260 have been to the evens. Okay, so to help me give me a clue on what I think is going to be the majority, I like to break things down into 5 again. So out of this 5 drawings here, you can see that the majority was odd numbers. 3 drawings to 2. So again, I'm just going to highlight this red. So as I go back into the history of things, I can see that it's been odds, odds, evens, odds, odds. Okay, so out of the last 25 drawings here, I can see that the majority has been to the odd side. So my prediction, or my guess, is going to be that there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so I just like to say that we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay, but again, for me, I'm going to go with, I think, more even numbers are going to come up than odd. So I'm just going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. And now I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one I have is this high and low. And then I have left and right, and then I have this red and blue area. So I got these 4 things that kind of give me a clue on where I think the 5 white winning Powerball numbers are going to pop up. Okay, so looking at this one's pretty close at 277 to 272. And This one's really a toss-up for me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with, I think, more low numbers are going to come up than high. So I'm going to write that down. More to the low side than the high. Okay, moving on. This one's dead even at 275 a piece, which is pretty cool, I think. Again, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that there's been a lot more to the right side than the left side, so I'm going to predict that more numbers are going to come up to the left side than the right. Okay, and the last one I have is this red and blue area. This one's 296 to 254. A lot more numbers have been coming in this red area than the blue. It's been like going back and forth, but I'm going to predict that since the blue is so far behind, I'm going to predict that it's going to come right back up here. Okay, so I think more numbers are going to be in this blue area than the red. Okay, so there's my road map, or maybe I should call it a treasure map. Okay, and my treasure map says that I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd. I think they're going to be more in this low area than the high. I think they're going to be over here in this left, and I think they're going to be in this blue. Okay, so automatically I think there's going to be at least two numbers in this square right here. Okay? And I'm going to take it from there. So, looking at this, I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up. And I decided to go with no green numbers. Okay, so again, I think more numbers are going to be in here, and you can see that most of the numbers in this, what I call the red area from the 50-50 picks, you can see that there's a lot more green there. Okay, and plus looking at the color code over here as well, as I just look down through, I just see lots of green. Okay, so I'm going to predict that it's due to miss, so I'm going to block out all these green numbers. Okay, so when I block out numbers like this means I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so if I made the correct pick here, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers still have to be left here on my game card as a highlighted number. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did here is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so this is group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Of course, this is the only group with 9 numbers, where the other 6 have 10 for 69 numbers. Okay, so how you read this is all this light blue squares. This is good for 5 drawings. And again, I like to break things down into 5. Okay, and how you read this is over here are the numbers that just came up, the 14, 26, 38, 45, 46. And this 4 tells me that it hit 4 out of the 7 groups. Okay, so in other words, 3 of these groups did not have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so looking at this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this. I'm going to point out the 14. And I'm going to follow the 14 until I find it up here. And now I'm going to make this square green. I'm making it green because the 14 is green, and the 14 is green because the color code said it was green. Okay, so looking at this now, the reason why I like to break things down into 5 is my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so that's what I kind of like to look for. Okay, so I'm moving on to a new 5 here. And what I like to do is show you a couple of different examples on how I like to use this. And I like to point out this red mark right here, okay, because I believe that this is one of the numbers that I got right, or I was predicting that it was going to be a red mark, okay? So as I look at this, this is what I was looking at, saying, okay, you know, there hasn't been a red mark in a long time, and I was saying to myself, I believe there is going to be a red mark coming up within these numbers of 1 through 9. So as I look at my game card, I look at the numbers and I say, okay, which ones are red? I got the 1, 3, and 4 that are red, okay? So that's how I kind of look at that. I hope that that makes sense. Okay, so what I'm looking for is a color that hasn't come up in a while. Okay, so over here you can see that there's no purple or red within these 10 drawings here. So there's the purple and there's the red. So maybe a red number will be coming up between the numbers of 10 through 19. And I got the 11 and I got the 14 to choose from. Okay, so moving on. Here in the 20s, I don't see any orange. So finally here's an orange number. So in the 20 numbers, I got the 24 and the 27. So moving on to the 30s. I don't see any blue. So here's a blue way down here. So the only blue in the 30s I have is this 33. So maybe that 33 will be coming up. And then here in the 40s, I don't see any orange. So here's an orange here. And I got the 43. So maybe that 43 may be coming up. Here in the 50s, I see all the colors: red, orange, green, blue, and purple. And here in the 60s, I don't see any red numbers. So here's a red. So I don't know. There was a couple that kind of stuck out to me. Okay, so I'll keep those in the back of my mind. And what I like to do now is reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Sorry, my computer's working kind of slow here. Okay, so again, the overall strategy is that there's 7 of these groups and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So again, the overall strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so as I look at this, my prediction is going to be that no 40 numbers are going to come up. Okay, so first of all, I think more low numbers are going to come up than high. Okay, so I want to look on the high side. And as I look at these 40 numbers, you can see that they've been just really, really hot in the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, the last 30 drawings. So I think they're going to cool off a little bit, and I'm going to say that no 40 numbers are going to come up. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to eliminate the 40 numbers off of my game card. Okay, so here's my game card. Now, before I go too much further, what I like to do is invite you to play along with me here, okay? And you could just draw out the game card, and it's 16. It has 4 big squares and then 16 squares in each one of these, and then 5 squares off here to to the left. Okay, so when you want to X out a number, that's exactly what you do, is you just say, okay, I don't think that these numbers are going to come up. And that's how you can play at home. Okay, so again, looking at this, I'm going to go with no 40 numbers. So I'm going to get rid of the 41, the 42, the 43, 45, 46, and the 49. The rest are all gone. And again, if I made the correct picks here, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers still have to be left here on my game card as a highlighted number. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next strategy. And this is where you could really come in and play at home. Okay, strategies number 4 to 11. Picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 3 to 11. Okay, so let me introduce you to group 3. Now the reason why this is called group 3 is because I simply broke everything down into 3 different color groups. Okay, then I got group 4, where I broke things down into 4 different color groups. Group 5, all the way up to group 11. Okay, so I just want to give myself different perspectives on different ways to look at different groups. Okay, so again, I'm going to start off with group 3. Now these are all basically the same, where I have 5 of these option cards. Okay, so this is option card number 1. And in the last drawing, there was 2 hits in the red area. The 14 and the 45. There was 2 in the blue. The 38 and the 46. And there was 1 in the orange, the 26. Okay, so if there's a hit, I colored the background red for hot. And if there's ever a miss, which hardly ever comes up, but if there ever is, I colored the background blue for cold, just to give me some separation. Okay, so over here, this tells me that this went on 49 drawings in a row, where one of these red numbers have come up. Okay, and compared to the blue and orange, you can see how many zeros have come up in the other color groups. It just hasn't happened here in the red, so I'm hoping that this is due to come up here pretty soon. I went for it last drawing and 2 numbers came up, so that really burned me. Okay, so I got that one wrong, and I'm thinking about going it again, but there's 550 million on the line, so these are very long odds, but if you can get them right, you can knock a bunch of numbers out. Okay, but the odds of getting them correct are really, really bad. Okay, so moving on. Here there was 4 in the red, 1 in the orange. So again, I colored the background red for hot because it hit. And here is a rare miss, which I love to guess correctly someday. So anyways, what I like to look for is sometimes these zeros, they double up like over here. And I'm looking at this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for this one right here, this option card number 2. And again, I have 5 of these. I'll show you the other ones real quick. Number 3, number 4. This one's at 27 in a row. Keep an eye on that. And the last one has 17 in a row here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for this one. And the reason why is because if a 0 comes up here, I'm going to be putting a 1 right here. And a 1 comes up a lot for some reason. And I'm going to predict that it's going to be due for this one. So I'm going to get rid of all these orange numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm going to start off kind of slow here. The 2, 11, 12, 17, 18, 27. Okay, so I'll get rid of those numbers. And then over here, I'll do the 5, 21, 30 to 32, and the 16. So I'll get rid of all these numbers. And then the 35, 36, 41, 42, 52, 57. And again, hopefully these numbers do not come up. And the last one is the 40, 45, 61, 54, 55. And the 61. Okay, so finally I got all those numbers off. Okay, so this is what my game card looks like so far. Okay, so right now the only thing I could do is assume that I made all the correct picks, and the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on my game card. Okay, so moving on to the next one, and that's group 4. And looking at this one, you know, it's the same principles here where miss, I hit, okay. Up here it tells me of how many zeros are in this column, and these columns go down pretty deep. So as I look at this one, this red one is kind of sticking out to me here because it's, you know, again, these zeros tend to double up. And this is going on a pretty good streak here of what I like to call single zeros here. So maybe this one's going to double up. But the thing is for me, I think more numbers are going to be over here to this left side. So that's kind of why I don't like it. So again, a 1 comes up a lot. As I look at this, you can see how many times a 1 comes up. Okay, so I don't really like anything here. Maybe this one right here. You know, a 1 hasn't come up in a very long time. So maybe it's due to come up here on this orange, and it's on the right side. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this one right here. Option card number 4. 16 drawings in a row. Hopefully it'll be like here where the 0 follows this. And I'm going to go for this one. Okay, so I'm going to mark this to remind myself what I picked. When I go back to correct it, I can, you know, say, hey, I got it right, I got it correct, or I got it wrong. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all these orange numbers off of my game card. And it's all the same pattern of the 2, 4, 65, 27 in all 4 squares. Okay, so I'm going to block those numbers out. And again, hopefully I made the correct picks here. Okay, so moving on. I got one more option card to show you. Again, all my groups, they just have 5 option cards. Easier to keep track of and maintain, and give me that different perspective that I'm looking for. So here, this was my last pick, the last drawing, and you can see I got that wrong. And it was the 46 that I knocked out. Okay, so again, I got that wrong. And looking at this, I'm going to leave this one alone as well. And I'm going to move on to the next group. Okay, so this is group number 5. Again, because I broke it down into 5 different color groups. And here with this option card number 1, I had 2 misses. So I keep track of those over here. And then over here, I like to remind myself how many zeros follow the 0, like right here. Okay, so this is the example that I have over here. Okay, so you can see that it happened one time right here. Now certainly what I'm looking for is when I could guess that there's going to be 2 misses and 2 zeros, and that will automatically mean that I'm going to get these 2 correct. Okay, so I'm not feeling that one right now, and this is you know, it's all gut feeling, you know. So moving on, option card number 2. Here there was 2 misses. So again, I colored the background blue for cold. And a 0 followed a 0 one time. So looking at this, I see a bunch of zeros here, so I'm thinking that maybe there's going to be a run of something of either a 1 or a 2. So I think that one of these zeros are going to follow a 0 right here. But I'm not sure which one it's going to be, so I'm going to leave this one alone. Now this is my last pick, last drawing. You can see I got that one wrong. And that was the 45. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to go, down and then back up. And then you pick a group and go for it. And X out the numbers. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 3, this is my last pick. Again, I got that one wrong. And it was the 26 that I knocked out. So here, when I look at these things like this, I see that there's 3 zeros here, 3 here, 3 here. Okay, I don't see 3 here in this purple yet. Okay, so maybe this is due to happen right here. And I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say that it is due to happen, so I'm going to mark it. And I'm going to get rid of all these purple numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I know all the 40s are gone, so I'll look for the 51, 52, and 68, and 58. So I'll get rid of the 58 and 68. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so then over here, the 40, 47, 55, 56, 64. And I'll get rid of that 64. Okay, so moving on. Again, this was last drawing. I got this one correct. It's always a good feeling. This one I'm not sure about, so I'm going to leave this one alone. You could pause the video to make your picks. The last option card. You know, I like this green one right here. The only reason why is because, you know, if this is a 0 right here, this is going to be a single red mark. And you can see that all the other columns have a single red. Well, I guess this orange doesn't, but over here, over here. So maybe this green one's due for a single red, okay? If that makes sense. So I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to mark it. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 6, 13, 16, 23, 32. So I'll get rid of the 13. Then it's the 40, 45, 53, 69, 63. So I'll get rid of the 53. And then it's the 36, 43, 52, 57. And all those numbers are gone. Okay, so again, hopefully I made the correct picks here. And the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on my game card. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next one. Again, I have 11 of these groups. Okay, so that was group 5, so now I'm moving on to group 6. And again, I broke this into 6 different color groups. Again, just to give me a different perspective. And this is the overview of all 5 of the option cards. And basically how this works is just this goes by the majority as well. So if there's 4 misses within those option cards, I color the background blue for cold. If there's less than 4, you know, if the majority has more hits, 3 or more hits. So this means I only count the zeros, so that means that there was 4 hits and 1 miss. 2 hits and 3 misses. 1 hit, 4 misses. Okay, so I like the red. I'm going to look at the red areas. I'm going to look at the blue. And I'm going to look at this purple. So red, blue, and purple for me. So as I look at this, again, I'm looking at the red, blue, and purple. And I gotta say, I kind of like the red here. Okay, so I'm gonna mark this, and I'm gonna go for this one, and I'm gonna knock out all these red numbers. Okay, so the 1, 18, 65. I don't think there's any. Well, here's the 1, so I'll get rid of that one. Please don't come up. Oops. Okay, so I got the 5, 15, 22. So I'll get rid of the 15 and 22. And then it's the 39, 45, 55. So I'll get rid of the 39. And the 41, 52. Not there. Okay, so that's it for that one. So moving on, option card number 2 out of 5. Again, I'm looking at the red, blue, and purple. And here again, I'm going to go with this purple one right here. Again, because if a 0 comes up, it will be a single red mark, like right here, 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 okay? So hopefully it's due to happen. And I'm going to mark this. And I'm going to get rid of the 428, which are gone. And then the 8, 66, 31, 32, which are gone. And then the 37, 45, 46, 54. And those are all gone too. Okay, so I didn't get to eliminate anything out of there, but moving on. Option card number 3. This was last drawing. And I went for it, and I got it wrong. Knocked out the 38. Okay, so looking at this one, I'm going to go for it again because, you know, when you get more groups, the stats don't go as long, okay? And that's a pretty long stack compared to all the rest of them, you know? So I'm going to go for this again. And hopefully I don't get burned. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 3, 19, 67, 20. So that's a good one, and I knocked out 4 numbers like that. Okay, and then the 31, 38, 55, 62. So I'll get rid of the 62. And then the 34, 35, 42, 59. And there's no numbers there. Okay, so you can see that I'm getting down here. I'm down to 3, 6, 9 numbers. Okay, so the reason why I really believe in this game is because one time out of all the times that I played this, I reduced this down to 10 numbers, and the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers landed within these 10 numbers. Okay, now that day I only got 2 of them correct, but I thought that the game did what it was supposed to do, give me a much better chance at winning a good prize. Okay, so hopefully I made all the correct picks, and the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on my game card. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next strategy. Again, I got Group 7. Group 8 is still under construction, so I don't have that, but I got Group 9, Group 10, and Group 11 to help me get down to the 5 numbers that I need to get down to. Okay, so off to, let me see if I'm even done here. I still got 2 more option cards here in this Group 6. And again, for me, I'm looking at the red, blue, and purple. And I'm going to leave this one alone. And move on. So here's another one, you know, it just kind of sticks right out. But you know, I'm going to leave this one alone. I already made a couple of picks here in this Group 6, so I don't want to push my luck. I got other groups to go to, ones with better odds, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to move on to the next one, Group 7, where again I have a little bit better odds of picking the correct blue mark. Okay, so here, this is the overview again. And the orange kind of sticks out to me that maybe this will be a blue mark. The red. So I'm going to keep an eye on those two, the red and the orange. Okay, so this is option card number 1. Okay, so I'm not really seeing anything. So for me, I'm going to leave this one alone. And I'm going to move on to option card number 2. Okay, so the last drawing, I went for it on this red, and I got it correct. And I'm going to go with this one again. You know, I'm looking at this. It hasn't gone 3 zeros in a row until way down here. So I'm hoping that it's due to have another 3-0 mark here. Okay, so I'm going to go for this. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to get rid of the 4, 10, 65. So I'll get rid of the 10. And then the 7, 13, 23. So I'll get rid of the 7. And then the 39, 54, 56, I believe are all gone. They are. Okay, so I'm down to 4, 5, 6, 7. I need to get down to 2 more numbers. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so looking at this one. You know, I'm thinking about this purple. But I don't believe that there's any more numbers left. So moving on. I don't really see anything here that really excites me. So I'm going to move on. Last one. Kind of like this brown. I'm going to go with this brown one. Hopefully it's due to have more than 3 zeros. And I'm going to go for this one. Okay, so I'm going to mark it. Let's see if I have anything. 17, 6, 23, 30. Nothing there. 47, 62, 63. I know there's nothing there. The 41 is gone, so there's no numbers to get rid of. Okay, so that kind of stinks. And that was the last, that was number 5. So I'm moving on. Number 8 is still under construction, so I'm going to number 9. And here's the overview of number 9. And certainly the thing that sticks out to me here is this gray. in the brown. So maybe there's going to be a blue mark here, which means lots of misses. Okay, brown and gray for me. Well, this brown one looks pretty good, but I'll knock out the 60. I think I'm going to pass on that one. I'm going to move on. Certainly the brown again has been really hot, so maybe it's time to cool off. Again, there's that 60 again. Okay, I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the 60. And that's it. Okay, so off to option card number 3. So what do I got here? I got 6 numbers, right? 2, 4, 6. I need to get rid of one more. I don't see anything. I'm moving on to number 4. Okay, so looking at this, I don't really like it. I'm going to move on. My last option card. Okay, I don't like this one either. Okay, so I'm moving on to group 10. This is the overview of group 10. Certainly the red sticks out to me that maybe it'll be some misses in the blue. I just got one more to knock out and that's it. Okay, so I don't really like this one. I'm going to move on. Don't really like this one either. I certainly like this orange, but I don't think that there's any orange numbers left. Don't like it. Don't like this one either. Okay, so I think I finally found one. I'm going to go with this yellow. I'm going to mark it. And I'm going to get rid of the 26. And that will bring me down to 5 numbers. Okay, but for the people at home, I'm going to keep on going here. This is I'm all done here with group 10. So here's group 11, just in case you need this last one here to knock out one more number or two. Reduce this down a little bit. Certainly this red one looks pretty good over here, but okay, moving on. Certainly there might be a hit over here in this blue one. And the last one, certainly this turquoise looks pretty good. And that's it. So going back to the game card here. Again, I'm going to go back to the 50-50 picks that I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd. And you can see that the 50, 14, 24 will make that happen. More to the low, the 9, 14, 24. More to the left, the 9, 33, 50. And more to that blue, the 14, 24, 33, 50. Okay, so I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these 5 highlighted numbers have to come up. So now it comes down to, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Well, let me go over the official odds. The official odds to get the grand prize, all 5 white ball numbers and a red ball, the odds are 1 in 292 million that you're going to get it correct. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for the white balls. I love to win the grand prize, of course. Now, just to get the odds on the white balls, it's 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, so another great prize to win would be 4 white ball numbers and a red ball. That pays $50,000 plus the power play if you play it. And you can see that the odds are just about 1 in a million. Okay, so I wanted to give myself some perspective. And that is, if I spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week. That means I will gamble and most likely lose because the odds are so steep, $312 per year playing my game Decoding the Powerball. Okay, so some people in the past have asked me, hey, if you think you're going to lose $300 a year, then why do you even play? Well, I think we could all agree on in order to win, you need to play. And for me, I'd just rather pick my own destiny than take an easy pick or a quick pick. Okay, so moving on, I do have something for the Powerball number itself. Now there's 26 red ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. So over here in this column, I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Over here in this column, it's odds and evens. So if you see a red number, it's odds. If you see a blue number, it's evens. Now this green mark tells me that the Powerball repeated. So you can see that the 24 came up and repeated again. So over here to the sides, again, I like to break things down into 5. So it shows me the majority. And looking at this, I think that this is going to stay on a blue streak. So I think it's going to be low. And over here, I think it's going to stay on a red streak, which I think will be odds. Okay, so I think the Powerball number will be a low odd number. And I'm going to go with number 9. Okay, so how I like to phrase this is that my best guess, the Powerball numbers will be the 9, 14, 24, 33, 50, and the Powerball number 9. Okay, so in closing, I'd just like to thank you for watching. Again, you can get my game through my Patreon page at patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. And if you'd like to give me any feedback, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.